or 60 feet. And we just...
How different is that from abaca? Just for my knowledge.
No, we also use abaca. It's not the same at all. Abaca is basically a banana plant. It's a wild banana plant. We also use fiber from that. But the advantage of buri is that it produces these rather stiff fibers, so you can make quite bulky objects with them. What you have is you have a spiral, like a wire that goes down the middle, and all these bristles are raised around that, like a bottle brush. It is a bottle brush, really. And then you trim it into shape, and you've got this wonderfully flexible...
And you trim it into shape while it's still moist and soft. Then you let it dry.
Yes, and then they dry it, and then you can stain it or color it and add accessories which are made of leaves and seeds and rattan, and you can come up with a really rather beautiful object. I should have brought one with me. What was I thinking?
That's okay. People know what...
well, they made it. Anyway, and we won. I'm getting ahead of myself.
No, don't go there. I'm going to get you to I'm going to get you to Kata Awards, which was just October. Tell me about the business yet. So 30 years into this, and you don't want to share the success, the financial success of it, but the growth. Because one time I remember I spoke to you several years ago, and I said, Paul, what would you have done different today had you known what you know now? And you told me, Raju, I wish I had been a much more big picture thinker. This was about 5 years ago. I called you up, where is the business now, and where are you taking it? That's a question.
I'm not very proactive. I tend to react to things as they come along. So a situation occurs, and I think, oh, okay, so that's something I've got to deal with, and then I try to deal with it. So what we've been doing is we've been attending twice a year the Fame show, the Fame gift show. Citem's gift show in Manila in April and October. And out of these we began to generate more and more business. But it has never been a hugely profitable concern.
The participation in Fame, you mean?
The participation in Fame, but also the whole thing. I mean, we've kept our heads above water, and every year that's gone by, I've said to myself, my goodness me, now it's the 21st century, and I'm still doing handicrafts. This is almost incredible that I can be in this business still when we have electronics.
Well, you did say that you are not very proactive, so nothing has made you change.
Well, I have a bit of a philosophy here. As I said earlier, I'm interested in population. I'm interested in the environment. I have always felt that whatever we do has to be sustainable. Now this word sustainability...
This is 30 years ago you
This was 30 years ago. I was involved in population. And only now do I hear the word sustainability being bandied around in common discussion. So suddenly I have become...
a hero.
No, not perhaps a hero, but my product has become something that is quite desirable. It is natural. It's made of natural materials. It's biodegradable. It's affordable. It's about nature. And we just can't make enough of them.
You don't use metal or paint or chemicals in it? Or glue that is probably made out of...
Well, we do use hot glue to hold the things together. That's true.
But that's all checked and verified, so it's naturally safe, or...
Oh yeah, it's
just a bit.
I mean, let's not go overboard here. When people come to me and say, oh, but it's got, I know, a little bit of plastic bead or something in it. I'm thinking, well, here's a person who owns an SUV, who buys plastic, and they're concerned about some tiny little... Let's not go overboard here. There's no way we are going to completely get rid of synthetics. It isn't going to happen. On the other hand, we simply have not managed to control our consumption of plastic. Now, I think if more people made products that were environmentally friendly, but without being completely biodegradable, we don't probably need that. I mean, and there are ways to recycle plastic, and there are ways to recycle television parts and so forth. We can do that, but we've got to realize that the amount of plastic we're throwing into the environment is out of all proportion to what it can absorb. You have huge gyres, they call them, huge islands, gyres of plastic floating in the middle of the Atlantic, floating in the middle of the Pacific.
Cavite.
Maybe even
Batangas,
there. And birds come, albatrosses in their innocence, and they pluck up what they think is an object of food and they stuff it down the throats
and they die.
And they die.
Paul, Two questions. Tell me about the Kata Award. Kata Award. But before you do that, tell me, I mean, there's no measurement on how much impact you've had to the Filipino economy and the society. But you must have an approximation that I've hired so many people and I've given out so much work in the last 30 years, and I probably have had so much impact. There's nobody measuring this. So can you share how much impact you've had, and what was the Kata Award for?
Okay, well, we're a family business, Raju.
Right.
We're
Gloria,
small,
Tina, and
absolutely, Divine, who's my secretary, but also my sister-in-law, and just about everybody in the entire operation is related to some degree. We have a facility in Manila where we do some manufacturing. We also have a rather larger facility in Pangasinan, which is where Gloria is from, and where they manufacture most of what we do. So this has enabled people perhaps to earn and make a living out of something which didn't exist at all 20 years ago. So yes, I feel that we have provided employment to probably a couple of hundred people. And
well, that's a full-time employment, but you know the multiple effect. So subcontractors, suppliers, the supply side, the whole supply chain, you must have made an impact on those. Shippers, forwarders, bankers.
I suppose, yes, you're right, I haven't quantified it, but all of those people are involved. I have to say that the handicraft business is not doing well as a whole. We happen to have been perhaps very lucky. I mean, there's always a big element of luck, and I can't take credit for all of that. There must be
some kind of a discipline that you follow. Probably it's the mixed culture in your family that has an impact. Probably it's a certain common English discipline, maybe. Maybe that's helped it. It just can't be luck, Paul.
There's a large amount of luck. I'll still insist on that, Raju. But as I say, it's a matter of seeing the opportunity and seizing it. When it comes along, you've got to be ready.
Well, that's the discipline.
Okay, the discipline part is being ready and prepared to do it. I mean, now we've had probably the most successful year we've ever had in a quite serious world economic downturn. Lucky, but also ready. We had the raw materials on hand when we needed them. We had the labor supply when we needed it. We had those people trained, and everything came together, and we were able to ship everybody in time, thank the Lord. And we didn't have, as could well have happened, buyers saying to us, this has to be here by Christmas or we can't sell it. You weren't able to finish it in time, and I think you know what I'm talking about because you come from the garment industry.
Paul, we got to move on to kata, and we got to move on to your hobby and passion. We've got 5 minutes to go. Tell me about the kata and just shift into why do you act while you still produce sustainable handicrafts? Why and how? I mean, what drives you to be an actor?
First of all, the Kata Award, we were able to win for Best Product Design in our area, which was gifts. And well, I mean, I've been struggling away and working at it for quite a number of years, and I do notice that the people who come into our booth at the show, you know, their eyes light up, they smile, they say, oh, how cute, and we get a great reaction from that. So when the Kata Award judges come around, and they come into the booth, and similar reactions, and so, yeah, we won the award.
Well, congratulations for that. And may your business multiply and grow, and may your family become healthier and richer. Now you got to tell me about why are you an actor while being a businessman? What drives you to be an actor? He has acted in a dozen Filipino movies and more than a dozen international movies. One of them, The Little Prince, no, not The Last Prince, Stairway to Heaven, and he was a husband to Eugene Domingo in the movie
First Love.
First Love. So tell us about that one. That's exciting.
Well, okay, as I said before, I came into business in complete ignorance, and I think I have more of a passion perhaps for acting than that.
You wish.
But you can't stay alive as an actor, can you?
Oh, you could. You could flip burgers.
Yeah, that's what you do when you end up, you know, working part-time in a restaurant or something, which is fine if you want to be a restaurateur. My nephew is a restaurateur, but as a part-time job, no. So I wanted to act, and now I've got a foot in both camps, which suits me just fine. I managed to keep food on the table with the business, and I get to act, thank you, Gloria, for that, when business comes up. And a year ago, a little more than a year ago, my cell phone rang, and it was Marilu from GMA7. And she said, we have a part in an upcoming soap opera, Stairway to Heaven. And we
that's
wonder,
on TV?
well, yes, and
Yeah,
we
okay.
wondered whether you might like to come and audition for it.
Yeah.
And I thought, I don't know. I said, oh, GMA7, that's way over in Quezon City. We're down in Parañaque, the traffic and the time. And so, you know, well, how long will you be open until? Maybe I can come by. Oh, well, we're here until 8, perhaps even later. So I put the phone away and forgot about it. But I didn't really forget. This thing was niggling in the back of my mind. You know, there might be a job there. So finally, after dinner, I get in the car and I drive over.
And you say, adios, Gloria. I'll be back.
I'll be back. I don't know what this is all about. Something to do with GMA7, blah, 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 Stairway to Heaven. I arrive and they take my picture, click.
Yeah, all right.
And so I say, well, do you want me to read anything? Or, no, it's okay. We know the kind of person we want.
Yeah.
And well, anyway, I got the part. So it was 4 months of shooting. And they said, you are not
This
to
is
take
for
on
Stairway
any
to Heaven. It's a
This is
series.
Stairway.
Does it still run or it's done?
No, it finished
done,
in December of last year.
Yeah.
And they said, you're not to take on any other acting jobs while you're doing this. Well, it just happened that I had also been offered a part as the judge in Sweeney Todd, a stage
I know
musical.
that. I watched it with, what's the name? I watched it a couple of times,
Sean
actually.
Penn and,
Wasn't that beautiful?
Well, it was lovely. Well, those of us who've done the stage play, and I had done it before a couple of decades ago,
So,
felt that the stage production is much
wait.
better.
Now, what part of you, what part inside you does acting satisfy? What does it bring out of you?
Well, Laurence Oliviers was asked that question once, and he said,
did somebody use the word beast?
you said beast. No, but they asked the same question, why do you do it?
Yeah.
And he said, look at me, look at me, look at me.
What does it mean?
Well, that means it's well, not quite an ego trip, but there's something, you've got to have the audience attentive to you on stage. Every second that you are on stage counts. Tick, 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 and you're off.
Right.
So you have got to be very focused. You've got to say the lines in a thoroughly meaningful, attentive way,
Right.
and all the time there you've got that audience, and they're watching you. And if they start to drift, you start to hear seats, scruffling sounds, and people talking to each other, and you think, oh no, I've lost them. So you've really got to keep the attention on you,
God,
and that's very, very crucial. And then, of course, aside from that, you're being somebody else. And I think this is the whole thing. All the world's a stage, you say. We are all actors on a stage.
Whether we are in business or not in business,
You're in a role.
acting or
You're
not
in a role.
acting, all we are saying is, look at me.
Well, look at me.
Look
Yes,
at me.
yes, we are.
Look at
But
me.
we're also in roles. I mean, when I come in here, I'm taking on a role. When I walk into my office, I'm in a different role.
We've got 3 cameras looking at us.
And we are aware that an audience of a certain type is watching, and so we have to get their attention. But with a script, you can be an entirely different person, somebody you never even thought of before.
You could be the king of Spain.
You might be the king of Spain.
Or
you might be a Maharaja or Rasputin or some person from the gutter or
Juan de la Cruz.
Whoever. And from that time, you truly are that person. And we have within us all these potentials, all these possibilities, of which a very, very narrow spectrum ever gets to see the light of day. But as an actor, you get to sample a much wider range of possibilities.
We've got to pull the curtains down for 2 minutes now, and we'll come right back with Paul G. Holmes, and we are still on Expand Insights talking to Paul G. Holmes, actor, businessman, and family person. So stay with us. Welcome back to Expand Insights. I'm your host Raju Mandi, and we're still with Paul, and we're still talking about the world being a stage. Now, Paul, you did share with me what kind of beast is satisfied inside of you when you act. No? Now, where do you want to take acting? How do you see yourself in the future?